Good morning, YouTube family. I'm back here again with another video. And this video is titled The True Bride of Christ. Who is the true bride of Christ? Well, as you probably already know, many of us have been told that the church is the bride of Christ. And many people reference Ephesians 5 and 25 to 27, where they're talking about the order of God, Christ, the husband, the wife, and the children. And talks about how, men should love our wives as Christ loved the church. And that's true. But I believe Paul is using, allegory there. But the true bride of Christ is the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem is the bride of Christ. And we're going to turn right quick to the book of Revelation. Chapter 21. And we're going to show you that the New Jerusalem is the bride of Christ. We're going to be the citizens of the New Jerusalem, but we're not the bride of Christ. And so here in verse 1, and I saw a new heaven, a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And we're going to read on down to verse 9 to get to the meat and potatoes. And there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, and I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem. There you go. Descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone, most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Okay. And we're going to read on here. And I'll go to verse 14. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Right? So one thing we need to understand is that the reason why I believe that many of us have these preconceived notions is because we have not read God's word. That's why it's very important that we read for ourselves. We have to show ourselves approved by reading his word. And again, in the Western world, we do not read. We're too preoccupied with what's going on in this life, trying to impress people, trying to seek affirmation from people. But yet we don't spend any time with God, and this is why we have so many deceptions. Of course, many are not intentional, but I mean, again, still, it's a deception. And that's why we need to read God's word in its entirety. And it's just like, I remember when I was in school, our teacher would give us homework, and they would have us to watch a movie. And our assignment or homework was to write like a 5 or 7 page paper about what we saw about the movie. And the funny thing is that all teachers, when they read the papers, they knew who watched the movie or not, just on how you wrote. And sometimes we as students will try to cheat and try to shortchange things, but the teacher knew who saw the movie in its entirety by what you wrote. And so if you just saw snippets of the movie, or you saw a little bit of it here and there, you really couldn't get out and write like you wanted to, because you didn't see it. You only saw some of it. And for the kids that saw the whole movie, they had a lot more information. It was a lot more complete, a lot more full. And it's the same with God's word. We can't just take snippets of the word. We need to read the word in its entirety, so we can understand what the word says, because we have it right here. The people back then didn't have the full word. I mean, they only had snippets of it. But now, we as believers in today's society, we have the Holy Bible. We have the beginning to the end. And so we should be a lot farther along. But yet, here in the Western world, we're no different. We don't study, we don't read, we don't pray, we don't really care about the things of God. We're more worried about what man is thinking and what they're trying to do. We're too busy trying to impress. And so right now I'm going to go to Revelation 19:7. This is another verse, a passage where people believe that we are the bride of Christ. Okay, so Revelation 19, verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. And he saith unto me, Write, Blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, These are the true saints of God. Again, people think, oh, see, there you go, we're the Lamb, we're the bride of Christ. Well, if we just read that here, now we're going to go to we're going to go to John. We're going to go to John 3, and I'm going to show you what that means. So we're going to go to John chapter 3, verse 29. We'll start at verse 28. Ye yourselves bear me witness that I said, I am not the Christ, but that I am sent before him. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, which standeth and heareth him, rejoiceth greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This my joy therefore is fulfilled. Right? We're basically going to be friends with Christ. We're there to celebrate Christ's marriage to the Lamb, which is the New Jerusalem. And we're going to be citizens of that New Jerusalem and be with Christ. And we read on to verse 36 here. He that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life, and he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth on him. Okay. Now, to further show you that we're not the bride of Christ, we're going to go to Matthew 22. Matthew 22. And this is regarding the parable of the wedding banquet. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm just going to show you something here. Verse 1. And Jesus answered and spoke unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son. There you go. That's God. His son is Christ. He's made a marriage for his son, which is the New Jerusalem that's coming. He sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, wedding supper, wedding feast, and they would not come. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner, my supper, my feast. Behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. Right? To partake, to be a part of. Right? And if you read on down, in verse 13, Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. And right there, many people didn't want to come, and they didn't come. And then one tried to show up, and these are the unsaved. Anybody that just Christ won't be part of the wedding feast or the wedding supper. And those that are believers of Christ will be at the wedding supper there, going to the New Jerusalem. And so we need to understand those things, and that's why we need to read and study. Now we're going to go to the book of Galatians. We're going to go to chapter 4, verse 22. For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. Which things are an allegory, for these are the two covenants, the one from the Mount Sinai, which gendered to bondage, which is Hagar. For this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Right? For it is written, Rejoice, thou barren that bearest not, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not, for the desolate hath many more children than she which hath an husband. Now we, brethren, as Isaac are the children of promise. Right? And we read on down in verse 31. So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free. Right? So the New Jerusalem is the Christ's bride, and we're the children of that. And we want to be able to be with Christ when that time comes. And that's why he said in Revelation 22, verse 12, my reward is with me. And that's very interesting because if you go to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, which also talks about Jerusalem. We'll go to verse 11 here. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called sought out, a city not forsaken. We have to understand that we're going to be citizens of the New Jerusalem. That's our mother, spiritually speaking. That's why we have to study, read our Bibles. Now, here's another question. Where is the church in this New Jerusalem? Because it talks about the 12 tribes and the gates and the apostles. Where is the church in this New Jerusalem? The church must be important, right? Well, on the next video, we will discuss the whereabouts of the church and why. And I think you will be shocked, or you will be interested on where we are concerning this. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you again. And I wish you the best, and God bless. All right, bye-bye.